Hi everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to make chocolate orange cinnamon roll ice cream. Or if you don't want the ice cream bit, chocolate orange cinnamon rolls. So yeah, I made these cinnamon rolls a year ago and they were astonishingly good. And in that time I've been meaning to make an ice cream out of it, but you know, one thing led to another. So what we're going to do today is make the cinnamon rolls and then turn them into ice cream. For this recipe, you're going to need 60 grams of unsalted butter, 220 grams of milk, 11 grams of fast-acting yeast. If you want to use instant, super fast, that's fine. 50 grams of sugar, 1 medium egg at room temperature, and 1 egg yolk at room temperature. 460 grams of strong white flour, 50 grams of dark cocoa powder, and 5 grams of salt. First thing we need to do is to melt our 60 grams of butter and then warm up our milk to around 50 to 60 degrees centigrade. There's the butter. Like that. Into the milk we're going to put 11 grams, which is just over 2 teaspoons of our fast-acting yeast, and whisk that together. You'll whisk the milk and the yeast together just to get it hydrated, because we're going to leave that there for a few minutes. Let's make some room. Got a stand mixer with our dough hook. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our flour into our mixing bowl. Going to add in our sugar, our salt, our cocoa powder, our 1 whole egg, and our 1 egg yolk. Now we have our butter and our milk and yeast mix. So what we're going to do is get this mixing together and add our liquids in. In goes our butter and finally our milk. And we're going to keep stirring this until it's all combined. Then we're going to mix it on a medium speed for about 7 minutes. It's not exact. What you're looking for is for the dough to come away from the outside edges of the bowl and it be nice and clean. Right, now with that done, I'll show you the bowl in a minute. What we're going to do is just take I'm going to put a tiny little drop of oil. It's only a teaspoon, because all we need to do is make sure that that dough doesn't stick to the inside of this bowl. Like so. Right. There is our dough. As you can see, the bowl is lovely and clean. The dough has come together perfectly. It's got a little bit spring to it. It's nicely combined. That's what we're looking for. All we're now going to do is to take this out of this bowl like that. Put that in here. And we're going to leave that for about 90 minutes to 2 hours, something like that. That will double in size and then we'll come back and get them baking. Okay, so we have doubled in size. Nice. Still got a nice shape to it. It's got a good body. Now we need to roll this out into something like a 14-inch by 9-inch square, something like that. We're going to need a bit of flour. And a rolling pin. Nice. This dough doesn't want to be too wet. It kind of needs to be a reasonably dry dough, but has spring as well. I actually started with this dough by taking a known entity and then just adjusting it to suit. There is our rectangle, like that. A little bit more. We don't want it to stick. Now, Next stage, we're going to take our softened butter and we're going to smear that over the top. Now with that, we're going to add in our cinnamon and get a fork. And if you've got really sticky brown sugar, then you're just going to combine it, because we want that cinnamon to be evenly distributed. You can sprinkle this over the top of your dough, the cinnamon, and then put the sugar on top. That is absolutely fine, whatever works for you. This is just the way that I learned how to make it. And you'll find that as you do this, the cinnamon powder coats the molasses that is in the sugar. And that makes it much less sticky, much easier to work. Next, take a spoon and you're going to start just distributing that over the top. So we have one more stage. We're going to take an orange. This is the only oranges that they had in the store. They're tiny. I'm going to wash this to make sure there's no wax on there. Wash it with warm water and a sponge just to get any coating off. And we're going to grate that over the top. Quick tidy up. And now we're going to roll this forward. So we've got our thin edges here and then our long edges here. You're rolling that way so you get a long length of dough. And what you need to do is just grab the ends and just pull it back, because it will have shrunk ever so slightly. And then tuck it as you start to roll it like that. And what I find is just give it a slight little pull as you roll it like this, like that. Now what you have is a long cylinder of dough. Pinch the end together. If it doesn't want to stick, don't worry too much, because we're going to put these in a pan right now. Like so. Take a knife and we're going to lose the ends like that. There's not a lot going in there. And we're going to cut these into 1.5 inch kind of size, so somewhere around 35 millimeters. Once you've cut it, we're then going to place it in our pan, and now we're going to cover this, and we're going to leave this to rise again for another hour. We're going to do a super easy vanilla cinnamon ice cream. This is a condensed milk based one, so nice and easy to do. There's enough work going into the cinnamon buns as it is, so we don't need to make life any harder for us. As we don't need to chill that one down, we're going to do that right at the end. So with our oven up to 350F, 180C, we're going to get our cinnamon buns and put them in and get them cooking for 18 to 20 minutes. Keep an eye, make sure they don't burn, we don't want that. And when they're ready and your oven beeper goes off like a crazy person, we're going to take them out and let them cool down. Our cinnamon buns have cooled enough that we can now do our frosting for the cinnamon buns. Get rid of that. What we have here is 50 grams of milk chocolate, 50 grams of icing sugar, powdered sugar, 75 grams of full fat cream cheese, and we're going to use the orange juice from the one orange that we used whilst making these. So, first thing we need to do is just warm this up in the microwave until it's malleable. So until we can work it. So that was 20 seconds in the microwave, and it's just made it nice and soft. It's not hot, but it's soft so we can actually work it. Into that we are going to put our icing sugar and work all of that together. Like so. It doesn't take long to do. That was about 30 seconds worth of stirring. Next we need to melt our chocolate. Do this gently, short stages, until it's completely liquid. As it starts to melt, that's the stage to stop, because we don't want this to burn in the microwave, so it's much better to bring it out, a little bit early, and then you can stir it together, and any remaining chocolate that hasn't melted will melt with the rest. Pour our melted chocolate into our cream cheese mixture, and then combine all of that together. And finally, we just need to do our orange. So we're going to cut that in half. This is a seedless orange. And then one final mix together. And there we have a glorious chocolate orange cream cheese topping. Right, quick tidy up. This is the perfect stage to freeze some cinnamon buns. If you're making a larger batch, freeze them after they've cooled, but before you've topped them. But these will keep in the freezer for months. The next thing to do is literally just dip one of your glorious chocolate orange cinnamon buns into your topping like that. And let's do the other ones. And there we have our cinnamon buns that we're going to use for our ice cream. So ice cream, finally, I hear some of you say, using condensed milk. We need our scales. We're going to need 350 grams worth of milk, 350 grams of our whipping cream, 300 milliliters of condensed milk, 1.5 teaspoons of our vanilla bean paste, some cinnamon. We're going to put about 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. You can go a bit higher with that one, depending on how strong you like your flavor. But next you are simply just going to whisk all this together until it's completely combined. If you're using a Ninja Creamy for this, just pour some in your Ninja Creamy tub, freeze it, and then spin it as normal. Keep these in the refrigerator. To add these into your Ninja Creamy, chop them up and add them after you've spun. Don't put these in and then spin them on an add-in setting. It decimates everything. You want some nice chunky pieces of this in there. So if that's what you're doing with your Ninja Creamy, that's how to do it. I'm going to use my traditional machine to make this because I want to. So first thing we're going to do is pre-chill our machine for a few minutes and then get our ice cream base in there, and then we're going to chop up our delicious chocolate orange cinnamon buns into small kind of cubes, whatever size suits you, and load them up between layers of ice cream. There's our result. Let's get some scooped up and into a bowl because this looks delicious. You've got this super lovely texture with flecks of orange zest coming out through there and those pieces of cinnamon bun poking through. Chocolate orange cinnamon bun ice cream. Obviously, if you just want a chocolate orange cinnamon bun, separate that from the ice cream. I decided to make a super easy ice cream because there's a lot of work goes into the cinnamon buns, which are delicious. I mean, really, really good. We've actually eaten all of them, but you've got a really nice warming cinnamon smell coming out of this ice cream. Again, super easy with that condensed milk. Texture is super smooth. The cinnamon bun dough doesn't go super hard in the base because the liquid starts absorbing into it. So it's a perfect kind of texture break to the ice cream. When you bite into some of that cinnamon bun, you get a rush of brown sugar and orange zest come through there. Aftertone of chocolate, that cocoa powder. And then you've got the warming taste of cinnamon ice cream coming in after that. The vanilla is there to boost the cinnamon flavor. This is such a good combo. Delicious. I haven't done complex makes for a while, so this is step back to the old days when I used to make lots of things to go in the ice cream. There's another one coming up actually in the next week or two, which is a Christmas ice cream flavor, one I've never done before. That's just for the Ninja Creamy. Well, it's not. You can make it in whatever you like, but it's a Ninja Creamy video. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time.